Good evening, and welcome to Rock Solid Radio. I'm Linda Hutchinson, the Executive Director of Rock Solid Families.
And I'm Merrill Hutchinson, President of Rock Solid Families. And we are excited to have you join us for the next 30 minutes as we talk about relationships. A huge shout out to our sponsors. Thank you to Maxwell Construction, Greendale Cinemas, Mansfield Insurance Agency, and Erie Insurance. We are so thankful for these businesses who have made this show possible. So whether you are listening live or online, Rock Solid Radio, helping to strengthen our community one family at a time on your hometown radio, Eagle Country 99.3. Good evening, Eagle Country. Welcome to Rock Solid Radio. Hey, this is Merrill Hutchinson, President of Rock Solid Families. Man, I can't wait to get moving on tonight's show.
I wonder why.
Well, it's all about us, right? It's about dads.
Yeah, you reminded me back in the Mother's Day show that your day was coming.
This is good. You know, we talk, we joke a lot about this, but I think the more that we have been in the business that we are in, we see the absolute value of moms and dads.
Yeah.
And the separate but equal roles
By the way,
that they play. Yeah.
Happy Father's Day.
Oh, well, thank you.
Yeah,
thank you.
Happy Father's Day. Happy Father's Day to all those out there listening in Eagle Country. If you're listening live, it's actually Father's Day. And if you're listening as a podcast later on, hopefully you had a good Father's Day. It also, by the way, honey, is your birthday weekend.
Whoa. Well, gosh, we're going to just combine them all together.
Yeah.
You know, we have a child who has a birthday on Christmas Day. And, you know, I know how it feels because he gets robbed a little bit. He gets robbed.
You're so deprived. Yeah.
No. So this is all good stuff. So happy Father's Day out there to all of our dads. Today we want to take the time to celebrate fathers, what fathers are to our families, to this country, what they are to their wives. So we're going to have some great conversation today.
About the importance of strong dads.
And actually, I'm going to even hit on that strong dad topic a little bit today, too. So really looking forward to this.
Speaking of strong dad.
Yeah.
Your father, we're celebrating not just you as a father, but your father and all fathers out there. So tell me a story about your dad. Because I know there's tons and we don't have enough time on this show.
Yeah.
But, share a story about Merrill Sr.
So I don't have like a single story. And some that I do, I can't share on the air. But we absolutely, me and my siblings, love my dad. There are people in life who are kind of, characters.
Ornery.
But my dad, growing up, was the fun dad. He was always full of energy. He didn't let us sit around.
No.
It just wasn't an option.
Which I loved.
Honestly, and by today's standards, he'd probably be in trouble. But if you were sitting around on a couch or a chair, he'd walk by you and smack you in the back of the head and say, "Get your butt up and go do something."
Yeah.
And so, but it was always in good purpose and in good meaning. And so he was our jokester. He was goofing around. I was a kid who loved to wrestle. I remember this back from, 3, 4, 5, 6 years old. He'd come home from work. I wanted to wrestle, and I would be jumping on him, and a lot of times he would just get right down on the floor, and he would just...
He'd bring it.
Yeah, we would wrestle. And I was up even through high school. He was a tough scrapper.
Which you try to do with our boys
and I got
until
hurt.
They got bigger than you.
So my dad is definitely a lot more durable than I am. But, you think about, well, what did Dad teach? Well, he taught us hard work. He taught us to be tough, He taught us to do something.
Yeah.
And so he had phrases. My dad is a man of metaphors.
Oh, my goodness,
and just analogies. And so he always had these little one-liners, and I'm sure they were not created by him. They came up probably through the generations, but he would spit them out without thinking. And ones that come to mind is, don't worry about the mules going blind, just load the wagons. I remember hearing that, like, quit sitting around and waiting, just get something done. Don't think about all the reasons why something won't go right.
Right.
Just do something, and it'll go right.
Our kids used to try to write those down. They even got a little tape recorder to try to have them speak into our tape recorder because they wanted to be able to save those.
Yeah, they have like a book. We actually at one time even gave my dad a little recorder. Remember that?
Well, that's what I just said.
Yeah, and they would record those. So, the bottom line is my dad is a tough survivor. He was not a perfect man, is not a perfect man. And he made some mistakes, but when he made mistakes, he would rightfully be down, but not out.
Yeah, and he owned them.
He owned them.
Yeah.
He would admit his wrongdoing. He does that to this day. And then he'd say, I can't stay there any longer. It's time. We have to move on.
Yeah.
We have to move on. And so one of the I think the greatest gifts, besides showing us who Christ was and those kind of things, but in terms of day in and day out, the application that my dad taught us was, don't get stuck in your mistakes. Do something even if it's wrong. Keep plowing ahead. Shake it off, and then just learn to laugh at yourself.
Yeah.
He can laugh at himself, and he taught us that if you don't laugh,
he still is laughing.
People who visit or kind of come to our family gatherings think that we're mean to each other because of the way we tease and harass each other. But it's really that thing of if you can't laugh at yourself, you're going to get yourself in trouble. And so we learned, well, I think you even learned quickly from my brothers.
Yes, I did.
You better learn to laugh at yourself.
Yeah, you better have some thick skin.
Yeah. So, I want to thank you, Dad, for the dad that you are and continue to be in our family. You're just a precious gift to us, and so we want to thank you. Yeah. How about your dad? Now, don't start tearing up as you talk about your dad.
My dad, my dad's 6'4", my mom's 5'2", so you can get the image there of just a little bit of a different. But my dad was such a hard worker. I definitely got my work ethic from my dad. I remember him running his own construction company and then coming home eating dinner every night and then going to work on a house that he was building for us back of the subdivision. He's always been Mr. Fix-It, which, hon, I'm so thankful that you are as well. Like, I would have been in big trouble because I thought all men were like that. I thought all men had a big toolbox and knew how to use their tools and would fix about anything. And now I see these other families where the guy doesn't know how to even what end of the tool to use, and they're always calling a guy to fix things. No, we, and you too, very rarely are we calling a repairman. It's your.
I'd have to be on my grave to call a repairman, and that's nothing against repairman. No. It's just a pride thing or whatever.
Yeah, you better not say that because our air conditioning is going to break next week.
Yeah.
But so I'm so glad that I married a man that was just willing to get in there, get dirty, and my dad was that way too. So I just appreciate him. So Dad, I love you. Happy Father's Day, and I'm so thankful for just not only the faith foundation that you gave me and our family, our siblings, but also just the work ethic and just the integrity. My dad was always a man of integrity. Anybody that knew him as a business leader, businessmen knew that they could always trust my dad, and his word meant something. So that's kind of a lost art nowadays, especially professionally, and I'm just so thankful that he just showed us that.
Yeah, your dad, to me, he's always, kind of one of my heroes in terms of what I want to be and in terms of how I handle myself, and it's his integrity. He is a big man. I remember when I first met you and I met him, I thought, oh, Lord, I better not not cross him, but he was a big man, but he's a very straight shooter. And
love my dad.
He doesn't beat you up, but he does expect just the integrity. And so love that out of him. And obviously that's something that we've then tried to pour into our own kids, that your word means something, your deeds mean something.
So, hon, if there's dads out there listening, or moms really at this point, think about it. What's your kids going to say about you? when they're older, when you're gone? What kind of legacy are you leaving? That's a really important thing of what are they seeing in you? Are your words and your actions matching? That's so important. And that we both saw that in our family, and we know that that's important as parents to do that as well. So,
well, thanks for sharing your story about your dad. But we better get to a couple announcements and stuff because we got a lot of stuff going on. So, hey, we got our regular finishing classes going on 6 days a week. So we want to encourage all of you to get out there and get yourself in shape. Or if you're wondering about how to do that, give me a call. We can help you out with that. Also, if we ask you to check out our website at rocksolidfamilies.org. We have a lot of different things going on there that can show you avenues to help, whether it be in marriage or relationship or raising kids or fitness. So there's a lot of things going on there. Hun, what do you have to say in that area?
Well, don't forget about our sponsors. This show would not be possible without our sponsors. Maxwell Construction, Greendale Cinemas, Mansfield Insurance Agency, and Erie Insurance. Without them, we would not be able to be on the air. So please let them know that you're listening. Let us know you're listening and that you're appreciative of hopefully wholesome talk that is helpful for you and your family.
Yeah. Thank you very much, sponsors. Also, I want to put a quick plug in for something that is very much related to today's topic.
Yes.
So we have started a new podcast, and this one is myself and a partner. His name is Kyle Crawford. And again, God works in strange ways. I've been actually dreaming about this podcast for some time. I've actually even written some material for it and everything else. And Kyle, out of nowhere, calls me one day. And Kyle's 30 years old. He's a dad of two. He's a fireman, paramedic. And he calls me out of nowhere, and I really don't know Kyle that well, okay? I don't really, at this point, don't know him that well. And he calls me and he said, Hutch, I'm not really sure why I'm calling you, but it was just laid on my heart to call you. I am walking into a lot of bad situations every day in my work where I'm seeing struggling families and no dads. And I feel like I need to do something with this.
Wow.
And I'm going, And right away I'm like, wow. I said, Kyle, God works in crazy ways. I am sitting here just dreaming about our program that I want to put together. And I do a lot of things called Strong Dads. We do a workout called Strong Dads, and we have a theme here, obviously, with Strong Dads. And so I want to do a podcast called Strong Dads. And I said, would you be interested? And he was like, oh, man. And we've already recorded a couple of shows. We're going to be probably releasing those probably in late July or August.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Yeah, and so, but
I got to listen to the first
what I
one.
love about what we're doing here is we're talking about real dad stuff, and I love what Kyle brings to the show. He's in a fireman, policeman, paramedic world, but he's on the front lines.
Yeah.
I mean, I was on the front lines from the school setting.
Right.
I've seen what happens to a broken family. He's seen a lot of that out in the community setting.
Right.
And so
crisis situations.
The stuff that he is adding to our message is really cool. So anyway, stay tuned.
Yes.
We will announce our release for that.
Yeah. So, Hun, why this topic? I know it's Father's Day, of course, your birthday weekend. But, tell me a little bit about why this subject of strong dads is so important to you.
And, it's kind of like this. There's a verse, 1 Corinthians 16:13. And when I read this, I think this kind of just rolls off a lot of people. But I want you to just listen to this. It's a short verse. Be watchful, stand firm in the faith, act like men, be strong.
Wow.
Okay, that's 1 Corinthians 16:13. And you could read that so quickly and not even give it a second of thought. But when I read that now, and I look at what goes on in our communities and in this country, and it doesn't even matter what neighborhood you're in anymore, okay? It used to be, that happens in the bad neighborhoods, or we see it
It's everywhere.
in every location, every place. And we see, it's one of these things that you don't miss something until it's gone.
Yeah.
And then when it's gone, you go, wow. We wish we had that back. And what we're missing are strong dads.
Yeah.
We're missing
fathers in the home.
Yeah, the father in the home, the father engaged in the marriage.
Yeah.
The father who is working to be the leader of the home. And again, we're going to talk a little bit about that. That does not mean banging your fist and putting everybody in order. That means showing that strength of integrity, walking each day and helping hold kids accountable and teaching and learning and protecting. These are those things that, because we're in a feel-good generation, a selfish generation of I'm going to do what I'm going to do, we have families breaking and dads leaving the scene.
Yeah.
Some crazy statistics with this.
Before your statistics on, ladies, if you're listening, okay, this show is not just about strong dads and men. This is about the women behind the strong dads. You've got to allow your men to lead. I am an A personality. I am a strong personality.
Yes, you are. No.
But that has been to my downfall as well, because I took so much control. Like I kind of put you down for being a leader. I kind of felt like I wanted to lead the way so much that you really were just shutting down, because I was kind of forcing my way into leading the household.
Right. Well, hon, it's very culturally acceptable for if you're a leader, be a leader. All right. And it's culturally acceptable to slam men.
Yes, put them down. Yeah.
Because we do function and operate differently. All right. And so that was just a wave that we were just naturally coming up through. And for me to jump back at you and stop that would be like, well, I guess I'm just an old-fashioned bigot if, I won't even let my wife talk like that. And so it really was through a little bit of a understanding of, well, what does Christ call us to be in our roles?
Yeah.
And then we both started to grow when we really started to tune into that.
But I used to tease, and this was my fault. I would say, I need a really big playpen for the three of you because you'd be wrestling and playing. And I kind of put you down for not... I don't know. It was just I was disrespecting you and dishonoring you by the way that you led, especially our boys, and in a playful way. But, I kind of shut you down by the way I talked. And I learned through disrespect and dishonor that was what was doing to you. So I had to change that.
Because the man's wiring was much more physically engaging.
Right.
And so my natural way of fathering was... being a wrestler, being playful, but getting our kids tough,
firm,
right? They fall on the ground. It's like, hey, suck it up. We got another tree to climb. Those kind of things. And you did not see that as being productive to running the home.
Yeah.
And so obviously we had a bad worldly definition of how a home should run and what our role should look like. Yeah. So. And eventually, if a man, and this is just statistically backed up, if a man is not felt honored or respected, typically, and there's exceptions to every rule, typically a man will go to his favorite phrase, whatever, and he will go quiet, and he will shut down. And moms, we want you to know that when you hear those whatevers on things that maybe do matter, who cares whether we go to McDonald's or Wendy's to eat, right? But when we hear those whatevers on things on how to raise the kids or whatever,
go to church, whatever, whatever you want.
That is a dangerous place. Yeah. That is a yelling sign saying that he's no longer feeling that his opinion
matter,
is valued. And so he shuts down. And when he starts to shut down, you not only are disengaging him, but he is losing his heart for his job. And so
Ladies, please listen to this. This is so important.
This is huge because by and large, men don't want to argue with their wives. No. They don't. They don't like conflict.
They'll just be silent.
They want to. They go quiet, and so quiet is a sign that, oh man, I really need to attract this guy back into the game.
And I've had so many women in my office, literally in the last couple months, saying this, like, he's not engaging, he's not part of the family, he lets me do it all, because you kind of took control and you kind of forced it. You might say, oh, well, that's because he didn't do anything. Well, go back even further to where that started, and it's probably because you pushed your way in and forced your opinion and dishonored and discredited his opinion, and you really shut him down. You didn't allow him to be a strong dad.
Yeah, and he's not going to fight you.
No.
And so all of a sudden we have the separation. And again, I'm not trying to make an excuse for a guy.
No.
A guy has to start to dig in deep and say, man, I want something big for my family here.
Yeah.
But culturally, we have to understand like where the tide has gone and where we find ourselves.
So if you're listening out there in Eagle Country and you're a husband or wife and you felt like there's been this disconnect between you and your husband, especially in parenting, please come see us. Get some help. It's really amazing the transformation, hon, that can happen quickly when you start to realize and kind of be aware of the way you talk and the way you treat each other.
Yeah.
So give me those statistics you were mentioning before.
This is crazy stuff. You look at these statistics. This is from 2017 U.S. Census Bureau, and at that point, we had 19.7 million kids in this nation, and 1 in 4 were without a father in the home. So 25% not in this. I'm just saying not in the home at all.
Right.
So I'm not talking about stepdads and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, no, there's no dad there. And so the stats roll out is they are 4 times at greater risk of being impoverished as they become adults. This one here, now that we have a daughter, right, it didn't make as much sense to me, but now it's hitting home.
Yeah.
Teenage girls are 7 times more likely to become pregnant if they do not have a dad in the home.
That role of father is so important, of just knowing what love looks like and what healthy relationships look like. That's so important.
Yeah. I've shared this before and it's worth sharing again. Behavior problems. Me coming through the school setting, when I had a challenging kid and I had a mom and dad united and strong together, I'm just telling you that overall, we were going to work through this situation.
Sure.
And it might take a year or 2 or 3, but we are going to bring that kid through that challenging behavior. Yeah. If I had a single mom or a broken family and a dad disengaged, which was very frequently, all bets were off.
Yeah.
All bets were off. And that's when, sitting in the counselor chair, I would find myself saying, if I had to bet, here's where I'm going to bet where this kid's going to be.
Yeah.
And that's not a good thing for us to be doing.
Right. And incarceration, more likely to go to prison if there's no father in the home, more likely for drug and alcohol abuse.
Yeah, we see it.
Childhood obesity, because, again, single mom, overwhelmed.
Yeah. And
a lot of times they'll use the babysitter as the TV or computer and playing games. They're sitting around because mom doesn't have, she's exhausted. She doesn't have the energy to go out and play ball in the yard or ride bikes with kids. And
I joked at the beginning of the show, if we were sitting around, my dad would walk by, he'd smack you on the back of the head and he'd say, let's go, get outside, let's go do something.
Right.
And that's not available. And so we're even talking to dads who are in the home. If you are into your own little project or want to do your own thing, and you think, well, the kids aren't bothering me right now because they're on their screens. Your kids are sending you a message, and the message is one that they don't even understand.
Right.
That is, I'm going to need to get up and move.
Right. Yeah, so sometimes it means turn off the TV, turn off the computers and saying, come on, let's go outside. You guys can help me weed. You can help me cut grass. You can help me wash the car, whatever. You can show them how to do those things alongside you as a dad.
So, well, we better get back a little bit of the history here. Do you have any idea when Father's Day started?
Well, I did cheat, and it was after Mother's Day.
Well, yeah.
Mother's Day came first.
We're honoring the mothers.
That's right, yeah. So, for sure. So it was after World War II?
Well, so it actually started in Washington State, in 1910, but it was very localized.
Was before World War II.
Yeah, it was very localized. But it started to kind of catch on in certain areas. And then during World War II, just because of the number of men leaving the home front and going out to war, it became a lot more intensively celebrated. But it did not become official until 1972.
Wow.
Yeah. So, but again, it had legs well before 1972, but it didn't become a nationally recognized holiday until 1972.
Wow, that was like over 50 years more later
hey,
than the
you know
Mother's
what?
Day.
we love you ladies, but no respect.
It's the emotional. See, the women want that emotional honoring. Guys could care less.
Well, it's funny because in doing some of the study for this, there were a lot of men who foo-fooed the whole idea of a Father's Day because they said
Yeah.
We don't need these like gift cards and flowers. We don't need that. That's not what real men
Unless
need.
it's Home Depot.
Yeah, and so we've kind of changed to the idea that if nothing else as a nation, we should recognize the importance, the equal importance of fathers and mothers.
Sure. So, Hun, what do we want our listeners to walk away with? We're quickly coming to the end here. So what is it important for us to say to those listening, moms and dads?
Yeah, first and foremost, we need our dads.
Amen.
We need our dads. We can't, I'm really kind of just, it bothers me that I work with people and I see people in shows and stuff like this, read stuff that talk about, a mom can raise kids successfully, or even same sex can raise kids successfully. Listen, I'm not going to sit here and get into that argument of whether there could be a successful case. What we do know is both genders bring something very special and different.
Yep.
And so I kind of think of it as like, I would never go buy 2 left shoes. Right? I mean, they might protect my feet.
I walked out the door with 2 left before.
They might protect my feet, but the functionality to my body with 2 left shoes is not going to be nearly as effective and efficient as if I have a left foot and a right foot in shoes, the proper shoes. And so I think of that with our marriages. And so we need dads, we need moms, and let's quit dismissing that. Let's not fight for the exceptions. Let's get in there and say, yes, we need both of them for what they bring.
Ladies, please, we need to encourage our dads to be the men they were created to be. Don't try to put them in the same box as you. They're never going to be as sensitive, as nurturing, and into feelings like you are. We need to celebrate their energy, their excitement, their strength. A good-willed man would die for you.
Yeah.
They would take a bullet for you. That's something that they would protect you. And if you're out there in Eagle Country and you're listening and you've kind of come to head with your husband or the dad of your children and they haven't done that, I understand there's exceptions to every case, but good-willed men want to protect you. They want to be the strength of your family. Give them that place, that proper place in the home.
Yeah. And dads, I'm going to tell you, just like you and I kind of went through this this process of, it's time to own it. Own your place as a father. Start to stand up for that. And I encourage moms, as you said earlier, come alongside with your husband and say, okay, what would this look like? What do we both have to kind of start acting like and behaving like? And define, like, how is the world starting to mold us versus what we are called to be, especially through Scripture. Yeah. So let's stop trying to do things with 2 left shoes, right?
Yeah. The two are called to be one flesh. We're no longer 2 different people. If you are married and you have a husband or wife, you're called to be one flesh.
Yeah.
You didn't just buy one shoe, right? You bought a pair.
Yeah. So, okay, we want to celebrate and thank all of our dads out there. We do have a little challenge for you in your own home this week. We pray that all of you go out there and celebrate your dads. Dads, granddads, give them a hug, buy them a card. I don't care what you do. Get them a tool, but let them know that what they are to your family is something that is valued and appreciated. Love them for who they are. Right? They may not be who you want them to be always, but love them for who they are. And I think that's that unconditional part.
And I think the more that you honor them and respect them and to praise them, what's praised is repeated. And so if you catch them in the things that you love and just recognize that and celebrate that, they're going to want to do more for you. And they're going to ask, what can I do to help you? And so you just got to continue to love on them and respect them the way they need to be loved.
Yeah. Moms, I want to encourage you to ask your man, the husband that you're with, the father of your children, ask him to come alongside of you. Yeah. Like you said, ask for the help. A good man is always willing to help.
Right.
But asking him and then complimenting him in terms of who he is will be a compliment back to you. So,
and if you need help in that, if it's gone too far and you feel like there's no hope, give us a call at rocksolidfamilies.org or 812-576-ROCK. We're here to help. That's what we're here for.
All right. Well, hey, enjoy your weekend. Celebrate your fathers. Thanks, dads out there, for all you have been. It's a generational impact that's out there, and we want to make sure that we pass on the best message that we can for our kids in the future. So thanks again to Maxwell Construction, Greendale Cinemas, and our new sponsors of Mansfield Insurance Agency and Erie Insurance.
Have a great day. Happy Father's Day.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us for another episode of Rock Solid Radio. For help or more information about what you've heard this evening, contact us at rocksolidfamilies.org or call us at 812-576-ROCK. That's 812-576-ROCK. Again, a huge thanks to our sponsors, Maxwell Construction, Greendale Cinemas, Mansfield Insurance Agency, and Erie Insurance. If you have questions you'd like answered on air, or you want to chime in on something you've heard this evening, go to our Facebook page, Rock Solid Families. We'd love to hear from you. Don't forget to tune in next Sunday evening at 7:30 for another episode of Rock Solid Radio. I'm Linda Hutchinson, and for my husband Merrill and I, thanks for tuning in to your hometown radio, Eagle Country 99.3.